I just want to see, because I think I do have a couple troll tips here. Yep. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Just listen to this. Someone tipped me $1 and says, you struck down a commentary video from a detractor to teach him a lesson. You've been falsely claiming videos. I never struck down a commentary video of a detractor to teach them a lesson. This video here was from another channel doing exactly the same thing back in January 2022. I remember this particular day, someone had reached out to me in a very similar manner and said, we found a channel that is doing this, okay? I did the same thing. I did claims on them. And actually, in this case, with this person, after about a month or two, I said, all right, you know what? I think they learned their lesson, and I retracted the takedown. I don't know who you're listening to. They're nuts. That's literally never happened. Never, not once. In the entire history of me being here on YouTube, there's been some things that have happened. For example, some of them were Machinima related. As I cleared up last year when I did my Machinima React event, Machinima was first doing things in my name that I didn't even know about. Then they stopped doing that and started claiming things in their name, and I had no involvement in any of that whatsoever. They took the volition themselves to do it, and they were claiming to me that they were going to pay me money for any videos they claimed, and they never did. They literally were claiming detractor videos and never paid me a cent for them. So they lied, basically, okay?
So they're fucking liars then. Just like you are, Phil. So maybe you and Machinima have something in common after all, but this is what he does. Do you remember back during the interview? Every time the side-scrollers would confront him on something, what did he do? He had to go back into his 15-year history. He had to tell him how the trolls fucked him over every time, and he had to let him know, above all else, that it wasn't his fault. And what did he do here? Instead of just talking about it and admitting that he did it, he goes back into history when he was partnered with Machinima. He lets him know that it was the trolls that were actually striking people, aka Machinima this time, and he lets him know it really wasn't his fault, because he actually had nothing to do with it. It's almost like we've heard this story before. And by the way, I like how he immediately declared it was a troll tip. Whoever sent it tells the truth 100%. That's exactly what happened. But because Phil doesn't want to hear it, all of a sudden it's a troll tip. And gee, Phil, I wonder why when people call you a mobile game crackhead, you consider them trolls as well. I wonder why that is.
The only videos I've ever actively claimed on YouTube were videos that were cut and paste stolen from my channel. And what I mean by that is someone literally ripped a podcast, ripped a stream of me playing games, and they added no commentary, no criticism, no one talking over with it, just re-uploaded it. That's illegal. You have stolen my content and redistributed it without permission. You added no creative work to it. You didn't transform it. That's illegal. And there have been a couple cases over the years where those videos were taken down very legally and fairly. Outside of that, I never do it. And I couldn't even tell you the last time I did it. It's years. I don't do this. I don't have time for it. I don't care. I don't give two shits about it. I really don't give a shit. So you tip me $1 to tell me I did something I literally didn't do, but you believe it because you're nuts. You get it? Do you see the problem here? You sit there in your little circle jerker communities telling each other these things, and none of it's true. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Get a clue. Get some help. No one knows what you're speaking of, besides you and your little group of weirdo friends who don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Get some intelligence. Get some help. Seriously. Don't hate me for something I'm not doing. I'm not doing what you're saying. You're crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I am crazy. You got it half right, buddy. But he says, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't do stuff like that. I've had 2 fucking videos ever taken down from my channel, and they both came from him. One was the tax fundraiser / scam wedding video, and the other was when I covered the Crimson King Panda Lee hospital story. Do you think it's a coincidence that I make a video about him and his ex-girlfriend where, let's be real here, he treated her like shit, and all of a sudden it gets pulled down for bullying and harassment, and I get a community guideline strike? And then a couple of months later, I make a video where I talk about his scam wedding, which he lied about, and his tax fundraiser, and all of a sudden I get a copyright strike from Phil Burnell that he's now trying to backtrack and retcon that it never happened. But in this clip, he's saying, I don't care, I don't give a shit, I don't do stuff like that. Something's not adding up. And the reason that part of the video is so short is because I wasn't even planning on making this until he said that. Because he's basically saying I'm a liar and that this never happened. So I said, you know what? There was a clip I saw the other day that I was like, damn, that would make a good video. I just didn't want to go through the trouble, but since I'm halfway done with this video, we might as well just do it right now. And I want you to know, Phil, I am trying to slander you here. I am trying to make you look bad. Because what you said is so fucking ridiculous, you need to look in the mirror. You and that boyfriend of yours.
Because the truth is, if any of them had a real life, none of them would do that. You see? But they don't. None of them have real lives. They're just sitting away on the internet, squandering their lives away, doing this kind of toxic shit. And apparently, they don't have anyone in their lives who cares enough about them to tell them to stop. Because the truth is, if they had family members, friends, significant others who actually cared about them, they'd see that kind of crazy obsessive behavior and be like, you got to stop. You're out of your mind. We want to help you. Let's get you into rehab, whatever it is, detox you from this shit that you're in and get you a real life again. But sadly, these people don't have that, right? They don't have that at all for whatever reason. I can't imagine. If I was acting like that, I would probably have people all over me saying, what are you doing with your life, right? But I really do feel that this whole mentality of internet trolling, internet hate communities, drama communities, gossip communities, conspiracy communities on the internet, this is an obsession and it's an addiction like any other. It's just as powerful as drugs, alcohol, or any other addiction. Food, sex, all these addictions. This internet trolling addiction is exactly the same thing. You get used to it. It's part of your routine. You have social groups based around it, but it's not healthy behavior. It's squandering your life away for nothing. But it concretely hurts you and everyone around you, and you refuse to accept it, and you refuse to acknowledge it. You just keep doing it as if it's an accepted arbitrary action. When in reality, people who are outside of your bubble would look at you and say, what is wrong with that person? That person needs help. That's the sad fact, is they don't see it from outside the bubble. They're so in their own focus group of people, enabling them to keep this behavior up, that they think that this is fine, and it's not. They need help, and no one's helping them.
Kind of like bringing in Mike Klum to interview you and do a documentary. And then once you find out that he's actually going to ask you some real questions and want to see some real proof of what you're saying, you immediately pull out of it like the little bitch you are. And look, I can't speak for Mike Klum and what Phil told him behind the scenes. But if I can throw a quick video together like this, proving to you what type of liar and manipulating piece of shit he is, what do you think Klum would have seen in person? How long do you think it would have took him before he realized he was dealing with Boogie all over again? Phil, you want to talk about your detractors needing rehab and intervention and that somebody needs to step in for us? What does that say about you and your wife? Whether she even works or not doesn't even matter. You make $120K a year by yourself, give or take 5 or 10,000. And there's days where you're damn near crying if you don't go from $35 to $50 by the end of the stream. And anybody that actually watches you knows this is the truth. And why would you even act like that, Phil? What grown man cries because they may be a day or two late on some of their bills? What grown man knows that mentally and physically handicapped people regularly watch him and still feigns distress and guilt trips some of these people out of what little money they have? You know what type of person does that? The kind that needs rehab, the kind that needs intervention, and the kind that desperately needs somebody else to step in for them. I'll talk to y'all on the next one.
That's sad. And how many more? There's more and more people like this every day. Antisocial, sitting on the internet all day, whether it's on a smartphone, a desktop, another device. Everything they do is online. No social interaction, no meaningful relationships at all in their life. Just sitting there online. Their entire existence is some little microcosm of existence, hyper-focused on the one community where they actually feel like they get attention in life. And it's a toxic online community of fucking people doing harmful stuff. That's not an existence at all. I wouldn't even call that a human existence. It's not. And how many more people are having lives like this, right?